Y'all, we got a vid talking about the Dallas Mavericks and the BS that they've been going through. And I got questions. How did it happen? Who's to blame? And by any chance, does that mean that I have another shot at making the NBA? Maybe. I don't know. We gonna find out though. We gonna find out.
This is the 2024 Dallas
Jimmy,
Mavericks,
talk to me.
a team that accomplished what many teams could only hope for. They made it to the NBA Finals. Now, if ever in this position, most organizations will just run it back the next season. Keep the same core group of players, possibly make a few tweaks here and there. But when it's proven to work, the last thing you want is big, drastic changes. But not the Dallas Mavericks, because out of every big, drastic change you could possibly conjure up, they've gone through every single one of them. Out of the 14 players on this championship caliber team you see here, only 2 of them are currently active on their roster as we speak.
Now, how did this happen? How did this happen? I need to know.
The Mavericks had a winning formula, but decided it wasn't enough. It is a mess around and find out of biblical proportions, and a trade that initially felt like the most shocking and inexcusable transaction in NBA history has somehow turned out to be a whole lot worse.
Oh, no. Uh-oh. Oh, I don't feel good about that. Nope.
No way. Bruh. See, look. I'm over here fumbling around on stuff. Look. It ain't my fault. Well, it ain't y'all fault now. Y'all was putting me on ad blockers and I just haven't installed them yet. So that's on me. That's on me. That's on me. I'm gonna try to have it done by the next vid, but no promises. You know what I'm saying? Folks be busy. Can't lie.
Festivals and more, including to get 10% off the
y'all not sponsoring me, so y'all don't get no time on my channel.
25 measly little minutes. This is the total amount of time Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving played on the floor together this season. It was a marvelous 25 minutes and a glimpse at just how good Dallas could be in the post-Luka era. What would ensue over the next month is a series of events that would make even the most rational, level-headed sports fans believe in curses. 5 weeks ago, when the Mavericks traded away Luka Doncic, the general consensus was that Dallas was trading away their future to win now. How in a matter of 5 weeks they've sacrificed both is a tale that will be told for generations. Since trading away their golden ticket, Dallas has lost Anthony Davis for the rest of the season to a thigh injury, they lost Daniel Gafford to an MCL sprain. In a 3-day span, they lost PJ Washington and Jaden Hardy to ankle injuries, Dante Exum to a foot injury, and Kyrie Irving out for the rest of the season after tearing an ACL.
Bro, that is
70%
absurd,
of their
bro.
rotation gone.
So look, half of their team is out. We got 9 people. So best case scenario, they got a starting 5 and a little bit left over. Now I'm not gonna lie, we going like first 10 for first 10. You know what I'm saying? Active roster for active roster. This is probably one of, if not the sorriest team that we have. Actually, they might give Detroit a run for their money. But Detroit probably still gonna win because they've been actually teeing up this year. Y'all let me know what kind of team is actually losing to this active roster right here. You know what I'm saying? Like my initial thoughts go into like Detroit, but we already know that, so like that's not gonna happen. Maybe Utah, but I doubt Dallas making out of there alive. shoot, we might be able to go to Brooklyn, maybe. And that's like a hard maybe. Yeah, I'm yeah, like I said, y'all let me know in the comments.
And no generational super mega star to carry the load in the meantime. Under any other circumstance, a wave of injuries like this would be unbelievably bad luck. And that's really what it is. Just sheer bad luck. But it sure doesn't feel like it.
On
No,
top
I'm
of
not
bad
a superstitious
decisions.
person. Everything that happens can be attributed to some rhyme and reason, some cause and effect. But when you throw your franchise player out of the building and call him a fat, lazy heathen before slamming the door in his face, bad luck is gonna look a little bit more like retribution. And it is so much worse than we could have imagined. Last season, the Mavericks roster played a total of 18,134 minutes on the court. That's the combined minutes of every player on their roster throughout the regular season. As of this week, only 10% of those minutes are on their active roster. 10%. That means 90% of all minutes from last season are not currently active or playing for the Dallas Mavericks. And many of these players will continue to be out for considerable time, if not the rest of the season. The returning 10% of playing time comes from their backup center, the eighth man, and a man that's been on a two-way contract for the last 2 seasons. If you have
Dallas, to the city of Dallas, Dallas Mavericks fans, this is a level of pain that I would not wish on my worst enemy. I don't know what kind of pain y'all going through, what y'all did. I don't know if this is solely on the front office or, you know what I'm saying, when one of y'all obsessed fans made a deal with somebody that y'all shouldn't have made a deal with, and this is like the side effect of it. But hey, I'm sorry y'all are going through this.
a Mavericks fan in your life, check on them. See how they're doing. Because what has happened to them and their team is criminal. The only consolation to the Luka trade was that at least for the near future, the Mavericks would be in title contention with Kyrie and Davis. That they would be winning games
At
while the
least.
Lakers were prepping Luka to take the torch from LeBron before he retires. This couldn't be further from reality. From the start of the
Brain
season
damage.
to the infamous trade, the Lakers and Mavericks were just a 1.5 apart in net rating. Even without Luka in their lineup for over a month, Dallas was playing better than LA. But since Luka's first game with the Lakers, LA has the 7th best net rating in the NBA of plus 6.4, and the Mavericks have a net rating of negative 8.2, the 3rd worst in the entire league. The Lakers look
Like I said, I don't know who one of y'all fans made a deal with, but this is absurd. That's bad. Like, I completely forgot that the Charlotte Hornets existed. Maybe if LaMelo Ball is having an off night, these folks might actually beat the Charlotte Hornets. But other than that, I'm giving everybody else on this screen the win.
look like legitimate contenders right now, winning 12 of their last 15 games. The Mavericks can hardly field a full roster.
The Lakers looking like,
since Luka's debut in LA, the Lakers are a plus
beautiful
117 in point differential.
Like it, and that's the thing that I'm confused about too. Dallas offered Luka up to the Lakers. One, why would you offer your best player for someone like Anthony Davis? Nothing wrong with Anthony Davis besides the fact that he's injury prone. And actually, if he were to come to the Dallas Mavericks, he'll be playing in probably a better situation for him to thrive in. But with all that aside, why would you be sending your best player for that, and then you sending your best player out to a team that is kind of on the same level as you, and also playing with the best player of all time, who some may think is just another version of the player that you're giving up. Like, logically speaking, I'm considering Luka Doncic as like the James Harden of LeBron James's. Offensive threat out of the roof, and has debatable defense. Now, I'm only saying that because of the narrative. James Harden actually does play defense. It's just what's required of him is more offensively dominant than how he was back in the day. But regardless, my point is, you gonna let this man get taught up by the best version of himself that he could possibly be as of right now. That's like giving away Robin to Batman, or like, you know what I'm saying, letting Robin hang out with Batman to become Nightwing. And for some of y'all that don't know that reference, just go read a comic or go to Google. You know what I'm saying? You letting the little Junior actually go to the source to figure out how Junior can be big man. I don't know who in their right mind would do something like that. Especially if y'all trying to contend for a championship. Y'all just might have to go through them in order to win.
In that same time, the Mavericks
I'ma shut up.
are
I'ma shut up.
negative
I'ma shut up.
125. Not only did Dallas mortgage their future, they inadvertently sacrificed the present. And to literally add insult to injury, the Mavericks front office and ownership has taken zero accountability for the shoddy decisions they've made throughout all of this. In fact, they've doubled down, insisting Luka was not fit to be the future of their franchise. But the real kicker to all of this is that in the one game that we saw how this team was intended to look, they played great. Even after Anthony Davis went down, Kyrie Irving stepped up and played some of the best basketball of his entire career, averaging 31 and 6 a game and carrying the offensive load for Dallas. But to pull this off, the Mavs had to play Kyrie far more than he ever has. Over the last month and a half, Kyrie played the most minutes per game of any player in the entire league, not out of desire, but out of necessity. The Mavs needed him to play as much as possible in the absence of Luka and then AD. Over that same time span,
Make it ring.
Y'all don't get no advertisements out of me. What they thought this was? Crazy?
Games Kyrie didn't play, and in the one he left early due to injury, the Mavericks went 1-5 and lost by an average margin of more than 20 points. It's impossible to know if Kyrie's injury was exacerbated by the excess minutes he was spending on the court. But playing
it's reasonable to assume that
33-year-old injury-prone point guard more minutes than he's ever played before feels like a catalyst. Losing AD in his first game with the team felt like the worst-case scenario. And then Dallas lost half of their roster, and then they lost the player who was single-handedly keeping them afloat. Which brings us here. And with the Dallas Mavericks team that doesn't share an ounce of DNA with the team that made it to the finals just last season. Now, you hate to see any player get injured regardless of the circumstance. The health of the players takes precedence over everything else that's going on. But the Mavericks specifically cited Luka's health as a major concern and one of the main reasons why they didn't see a future with him. The fact that directly following these statements, the Mavericks have been hit with one of the worst injury plagues we've seen in recent history, while Luka is absolutely obliterating every team he faces on two healthy legs, is a level of irony that is almost too strange to even believe. As if the basketball gods are punishing them for the rash and brazen treatment of their former star. A curse. When in reality, this is the result of trading away your best player, swapping him for a player who is often injured, working your remaining best player into the ground, and stumbling into a stretch of bad luck with absolutely no recourse. Right now, the outcry from Mavericks fans is enough to make anyone want to go and protest with them. You know it's bad when Wizards fans are offering you their condolences. To no fault of their own and against their wishes, in mere months, they went from cheering on Luka and Kyrie in the NBA Finals to watching their team dissipate and be reduced to rubble. And yet, despite their disappointment for how all of this has unfolded, Maverick fans are still as steady and passionate as ever, sticking by a franchise that has completely undermined them and their loyalty. But just this past week, the Mavericks offered their fans a token of appreciation, a gift to alleviate the recent betrayal they were put through, by raising ticket prices 8%. Truly a masterclass of basketball.
Now, what in your right mind would make you think and here I go thinking that they're actually going to do something well with this. They raised the ticket prices for a team that is like bare bones compared to what they just had last year. And now you got even, well, I'm assuming that this is for the next season, not right now. Like, with everything going on, the people that have gotten hurt, the people that are supposed to be on timetables coming back, this don't even sound like a good time to even increase ticket prices, because by next season, everybody's going to be trying to work their way back into shape. The whole narrative of the team is how everybody's going to be playing once they get back. And you want to charge me more so I can see a team actually like try to work back up to, man, if you don't. I was about to say something, but I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Somebody in that front office need to be put in the full Nelson.
Mismanagement, spearheaded by the worst trade in modern sports history.
Jody, you did it again. I mean, Jimmy, I'm dyslexic. But anyways, another great video by Mr. High Roller himself. Now, I completely agree with him. This is one of, if not the dumbest and craziest trade in NBA history. Really in sports history. I don't know anything of recent memory that even comes close to this. But how the Mavericks are going to recover from it, that's something that I even have less of a clue of. But regardless, I love y'all. I'm going to catch y'all in the next vid. If you made it this far, go ahead and like, share, subscribe, check the description, all of that. And I'm going to see y'all later. All right? Peace.